Jesse Lonis hand going viral. Sean Deeb throwing down the gauntlet. Saying bad players also make bad folds. We can run back last year's bet as much as you want. Okay, Sean Deeb.
Storylines for next year's summer series already underway.
Yeah. Sean just wanting to get the bets in now. Got a little mystery hand brewing. We got 3 snowmen. Is it snowing out there? Benny ace high. One of those ones where it feels like you don't want to just give, you know, 6 outs a free turn.
Yeah, with trips on board, the pre-flop raiser can be very, very aggressive. Just so hard for Natasha in the big blind to have connected in any way. You've either got quads or some kind of dusty backdoor. Nothing much in between.
What about pocket pairs? 5s, 6s, 7s? I guess with ICM maybe even like 9s and 10s in there?
She might have some, yeah. Benny opened from +1.
Right.
So not exactly a clear 3-bet with all the pocket pairs, even though it's just 20 big blinds to start the hand. I think some of them would have just jammed pre. Some of them would flat. I think that's the question for Benny's hand now is there enough value to get with this low full house, 8s full of 4s? Or am I sometimes just, you know, value cutting myself against pocket 7s, against slow played 4/8s? Even blocks an ace. So getting called by ace high is harder. Oh, she's asked to see his chips.
Yeah, she seems pretty interested in this one. Wow.
Whoa.
She just ripped it in.
This was not crossing Benny's mind, I don't think. The threat of jam, I mean, maybe you expect to face a click raise sometimes.
Bro, is this just quads only?
Benny just being asked for his tournament.
Is Natasha just putting Benny on those big pocket pairs that you mentioned, queens, kings, aces? They were doing it all day yesterday.
Oh, and that's, apologies, she's actually all in. So I do think I was thinking that she hadn't gone all in, just made a bet. But given that she's gone all in, they do typically count it.
All day yesterday, they were counting the player's stack.
Sometimes.
I'm so confused.
Coming back 3 tables, they might get different instructions. You know, it's a little easier to manage the whole tournament at this stage, so it is possible that changed today.
Benny folds.
No way. Just a queen high flush draw.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't even have the chance to. Call feels standard, but I do think it's a tempting spot to just jam on the chip leader if you know that they're getting out of line. Just like run your equity.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those that for chips it would be kind of a natural call probably. But with ICM you're more incentivized to just take the pot down, right? You're not as incentivized to play post flop out of position versus chip leader. So a lot of the calls in GPV will become jams in ICM.
Is that 5 into 13 million?
Yeah, pretty sizable c-bet from Natasha. Daniel setting the trap.
It's an interesting hand in terms of what your calling range is going to be versus bet here, right? Because you're not going to have that much ace-x, because most of it, you're just going to slam it pre-flop, I think. So when you're check calling, I mean, you also don't have any pairs because you're just jamming them pre. So you have gut shots, or you have a jack, basically. I would think that this might be a spot where you just want to play min-raise and fold, where maybe you don't want to play calls at all because your range is just...
Whoa.
Well, he's induced the bluff from 9 high.
It does
really nice quick check on turn, quick check on river.
He's playing it as if he has King 10, basically.
On Natasha with ill-timed aggression. Daniel's going to be back up to 80 million.
I guess you just min raise here instead of jamming.
Going to use a time bank.
Yeah, definitely still expecting to be able to get value. I mean, once in a while he's coolered by pocket fours, but this is just a spot where you expect Natasha to have like ace-5 offsuit sometimes.
Wow. What an absurd turn of events here. Natasha's just blundering for 22 million.
I see too, but Reed does have some chip stack buffer now to almost 40 bigs.
Yep.
Just really feels like against the narrow range we
What?
expect. I'm sorry, what?
Excuse you?
What on earth is going? It's going to work.
We've just got a dead read on weak pre-flop hands.
Did she see his hand or wow?
The theory that you guys have studied with your solvers, it doesn't exist here.
Seems like it's useless, yeah.
Here we go.
3-bet bluff incoming. And 10-9 of hearts doesn't have to fold here.
I would never fold. I would always take a flop in position here. She made it really small as well. She's giving him an amazing price. He's in position and he's covering stack. This is like pretty dreamy spot, to be fair. Especially if he's got like some intel that she's a bit out there.
He did have like a pretty sick read on her in the queen deuce hand, right? Like he immediately,
he was
the one that voiced like, I feel like, you know, you're up to no good there. They've been playing a long time.
There are some spicy flops here. This is one of them.
Here we go. Strap yourselves
Oh
in,
my
ladies and
she
gentlemen.
jammed.
Count, please.
What?
She's gonna get called here.
Oh my word.
He's not folding. He's covering. He has top pair. He has a backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. He's not folding. She's going to be all in here with 26% equity.
This is for... I mean, if Terrence calls and holds, he's going to be second in chips. Natasha with the 2x pot jam on the flop. I mean, potentially one of the biggest implosions we've seen this year in tournament poker.
I mean, the hand is not over. She has 26%. She has a straight draw, she has an overcard, she has a backdoor flush draw. But there's no way he's folding here, right?
I mean, it's easy to see monsters in these spots. You think like, oh wow, you just had jacks pre and, you know, got the 10 high board and I'm in terrible shape. I'm sure these thoughts are running through his mind.
And I guess with the delayed feed, nobody knows the hands that we've called the action on in the last, you know, 70 minutes or so. So these guys aren't privy to like the queen deuce, the 9-6. But
Okay,
Terrence
thank
has
you.
had a pretty
61
sick
million.
read on her.
Start my clock, please. Tasha. A little bit of a gangster, huh?
Not just a little bit.
What do you think I have?
I don't care.
Get that.
Terrence trying to extract some information with the speech play. Natasha giving nothing away.
How can I fold? How can I not put the chips in with this hand? You're just gonna show ace queen to the world.
she's like, I wish I had ace queen. Actually, Jack 7 has more outs against 10-9 than
She has
ace
more
queen
equity
does.
with this
Yeah.
one versus the 10 specifically.
Yeah, that's true. One absolute savage. Win or lose.
I fold.
Whoa!
No.
Oh my word.
Wow. Good entertainment. Makes our job in the booth a lot easier for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's so fun. Oh no. Man, Lucas is down. There must have been some like pretty big pots that have happened over here because Lucas is down to 14 million. He was up to 55 at one point. He's going to run this with the 8s.
Yep.
For his tournament life. See if anyone in the blinds wakes up with something.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's going to have to go with it as well.
Hang on. We're just going to have a three-way all-in between the short stacks.
Three-way is...
Reed gets out the way. I mean, this is dreamy for Lucas. He gets to see these guys are blocking each other. 46 million in the main pot, 20 million on the side.
All the shortest stacks involved here.
I'm trying to think what some of the funny ways this one could play out. So Lucas holds for the main, Franco holds for the side, and then Daniel's down to just, what, 5 million? King of Hearts window card. Daniel calling for a temple. It's been a rough day in the office for him. Quite literally hasn't won a pot from the all-ins that we've seen. Our 8s about to hold.
Sweaty river.
Ace or a queen needed for Franco. Jack or a 10 needed for Daniel. Anything else gives Lucas the pot. And the 46 million in the middle. Not like that. Ace of Hearts on the river.
Ay. That's painful. Barry Greenstein.
You do, but 130 million chips is so many. I think this is just the time to... You don't want to get ahead of yourself playing some massive pot out of position. We just limp call and hope to limit the damage.
Queen 8-4 is helping Peter to do just that. One club on board, no pair.
Yeah, Peter's hand is good enough to continue versus small bet, but not a large one. And Binder has options with 2 kings on a pretty dynamic board. Let's see what he chooses for bet sizing. That looks like a healthy 2/3 pot. Should end things. Ace-3 of clubs, just the kind of backdoor that sticks around against small bets. It's almost a bit greedy from Binder, just hoping that Peter has like Queen 10 and loses a giant pot here.
Would you be critical of a fold?
From Peter? Oh, I think he should absolutely fold.
Yeah. Especially with this touch greediness on the sizing, as you pointed out, and wading into very murky water now is Chien, and you can see a world in which we level ourselves into thinking that Binder is just being abusive, but he has the goods. And now this is a sopping wet deluge on the turn. This 5 of clubs giving him the wheel gutter and the nut flush draw. Escape is not in his future with 55 million in the middle, and perhaps a bad beat is, but it's going to cost him.
This could easily lead to a 250 million chip pot. I mean, Binder, I think, will continue to value bet on the 5 of clubs, and Peter's got a huge draw, the exact type of hand that you would think about check raise all in with.
35.
Now that we're here, I just don't see a path. I mean, you probably beat bluffs in Peter's shoes here, so check calling is also an option. He doesn't have to go all in.
But listen, if Binder arrives at the river with lighter than ace tray, you can't just make the assumption he isn't going to blast into you on the end.
No, you likely lose the pot when you don't improve. And Binder could absolutely just have 7 deuce. Call announced.
And Binder very much is thinking this is a good queen that's sticking around more often than not.
Yeah.
Of course, we know it's far from that. It's a hand that threatened these threatens these kings, and he's made the backdoor flush. Wow. Now, how do you approach this if you're Chien?
We can absolutely
Do you want to
lead.
induce against maybe something super dusty? Because there's a 4-liner out there, too.
Yeah, and I think the 4-liner is quite relevant. Peter's weaker hands are going to be stuff like 8-7, 8-6, maybe 5-7. And those hands have improved to something worthy of lead jam, or at least lead small. So I think leading's a big part of the strategy now. Understandable check with very top of range. That's going to limit this one, but that's a chip lead changing pot at this table.
Bernard quietly putting kings into the bin. Very happy with the size. Unbearable jobs I could think of is El Clasico. Takes shape here. Hook piling over the top of JNT. Those two guys rumbled a lot the other day. And look how fortunate this is for Bellarmino de Souza, who might have otherwise espoused this ace-queen in the big. He is still asking for a count. Hook covers, but we're talking about 7 and then piles. Do we really want to dig in with an ace-queen? I don't think so.
I mean, I think with no live information, ace-queen is a call here.
Is it?
But
even with all the ICM pressure, even with 10 million up top, just hijack versus cutoff these two guys?
But I wonder if he gathered that little bit of, I thought I heard JNT even asking for a count during the pot, like a little bit of interest shown. I don't know if D'Souza is going to be able to read into that, because it's so easy to just see the chip leader opened. JNT plays a lot of hands. There's going to be so many instances of Broadway opens, small pair opens, and Charlie's going to have ace-jack sometimes. He's going to have worse. Okay, nice fold.
So the ace-queen finds the muck, and JNT once again finds himself in the ace-king versus two queens race.
That's exactly how Hook decimated his stack earlier. JNT the winner that time. Let's see if it evens out. Let's make it fair.
King 9-3, and the unfairness is front and center here. Hook fading. And perhaps we are down to 13. What says the river? Is Lady Luck on tap? No, she isn't.
Good luck.
And Hook can live with that one, as JNT's life grows stronger in force. And the field.
Even for me, I'm like old enough, even for 25-year-old guy, it's not that easy task. You sleep not well, you need to like rest and so on. And like imagine this guy in his best ages, but like, yeah, he's probably a little older than me. It's like amazing, really. And like now really fun aside, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Faraz,
not so amazing. Forgive
Faraz
the interruption.
Is out,
is Faraz's plight with 9s versus 10s here.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, this is like just like mandatory all-in, and he's out of the tournament, because like if you know the GRO, you know that there is like no outs. So there is like we have even the mistake in the graphics, because 9s doesn't have 18%. They have like -2% to win the hand. So I don't understand, guys. So I think we should correct it. Yeah, this is not cool. Maybe spectators don't understand that.
Well, whatever it was, it's worse now on an ace-4 deuce board, as Jaka has no way out of this.
Yeah.
Oh, other than the red 9 ball on the turn. Ay, ay, ay.
But wait, there is always possible that the 10 is coming on the river, right?
Yeah, well, good luck with that. You want action? I mean, come on.
You don't believe in fairy tales, Ellie?
2 outer versus 2 outer.
You don't
turn and
believe?
river. Oh my
Not
God!
like that! I didn't know that. You knew that?
No, of course we don't know it.
Hey guys, if you use spoilers, I didn't know that, but I predicted. Wow. What kind of joke is this? Is this real life?
Yesterday.
It's a good start for Binder.
Red queens taking us upstairs. Ace jack now for Bebeto.
What do we do here for Oz? Well, what are we thinking about?
I mean, mostly going to be 3-bet folding here. Oh, he only has
6 healed, that's 15 bigs.
Correct.
Okay.
How much?
Ooh, ace queen.
Yeah, I think if you're a little bit deeper, you'd just be 3-bet folding, but 15 big blinds. How many handed are there here?
Should be 6-handed, given
Yeah.
there's 2 tables of 6, right? 12.
Yeah, I think as long as you think the under the gun guy has a wide enough opening range, if you thought it was super tight, you know, maybe you could pitch it.
Must we call now for Blaze, given we only have 29 million back? Ace queen suited, or is it scary?
That's a tough spot. Ace queen suited.
Going for it.
We call.
We might just have a double elimination.
Wow.
Open,
Be a quick one.
jam, a call off, and then of course the bad news revealed as the ace highs interfere with each other's prospects to improve.
This might be a quick one, gents.
Double elimination possible. We have seen so many wild things already though. 57 million on the side, 9 figures in the main. Golden opportunity for Binder to spin it all the way up to the top of the charts and knock 2 players out.
Pretty insane.
If it is a
They're
double
ready for an ace.
elimination, by the way, given that Ribeiro started with more chips, he'll end up securing the pay ladder while Blaze will be left with the final 520K haul. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Flop will bring focus, and we focus in on nothing of interest for either the ace queen or the ace jack. Ribeiro could end up drawing dead on this turn. Yeah, he's wrapping the rail. He knows it's all over for
Big game.
him. But for Blaze, he could hit an ace.
He's got him covered with
How's he
three.
not dead?
There's only 2 available.
Good game, boys.
Good game.
That ain't it. And
Good play, man.
Bernard Binder of Austria
The field thanks you.
drops 2 people out of this one to bring us to 10-handed action. Again, Blaze with the shorter stack will take home.
it, right?
Yeah, when you said induce, you were talking about read 7s, but all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Benny awakening to something that could put him to bed.
How can you not, Faraz? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this, unless if you think Eric is not 3-betting enough, you could get away with this, but otherwise it's very difficult to get away from.
Ouch for Glazer.
He backs up the truck,
89.5.
and unfortunately, it's about to roll right back over him in all likelihood. Was asking for a count. This
Well,
does
shouldn't he
feel
call ready?
a little bit
Well,
a little bit gnarly, boys.
What?
I think you're supposed to just snap. This is,
He asked for a count.
I don't
And
really get this.
He
Is there-
double checked his hand.
Maybe is there a pay jump he's
No,
wants
we're-
to take some time for anything? No, there's,
Well,
yeah.
hold on. We're at 10 players. Yeah, there is a ladder between 10 and 9.
Okay, so he probably wants to,
665 turns into 850.
This is ridiculous. No.
But I don't think Benny's going to be amused when he sees aces here.
Really?
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
yeah, it didn't seem like that's why he was waiting. So I don't know.
This
what
is
that was
not
all about.
real, is it?
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
But why?
I don't
Why,
know.
Ali?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
listen, I don't know if there's a history there, but you see Benny
Need a lot of help. Queens.
understandably demoralized. He's already staved off elimination on a couple of occasions.
Couldn't let it go.
I'm glad he did that because
I just couldn't let it go. Okay, now it's starting to feel pretty clearly less associated with a pay ladder and more associated with a pound of flesh. And it is Glazer's flesh that rates to be grilled in short order here. Could draw dead swiftly, absent a queen on the turn.
Give him a chance. I want to see a queen.
You have him covered. Pocket sevens.
Not a queen,
Good 7s?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
but a 7. And in turn, the departure of a World Series king.
knocked
in
that
Benny
down.
Glauser. Three-time
rolled
bracelet winner.
I had aces.
That applause there likely associated with
That's
the
88.
revelation of his demise.
So sick.
I'm covered.
Really nice play.
GG's, Benny. Wow. Now, he would have had top pair, but just look at what D'Souza's got on the stovetop. Open-ended straight flush draw versus gut shot, and what is technically the leading hand right now with eights. The 9 would be no good for Binder. Only we know this as D'Souza chooses to check as opposed to c-bet into the Reaper.
Should go check here.
He's gonna really wish he checked the opposite bet this one because King Queen suit has lots of reason to jam.
Yeah.
There's the check through.
Free turn card now placing D'Souza in the lockup position with the king high flush. Binder does have a club working, and Bellarmino is going to give rope. Do we like this?
I think he is thinking that Binder with the big stack is more likely to bluff at him than call with worse.
I mean, he has a lot of, you know, 8s and 9s and some 7x that aren't going to bet, but they'll call a bet. So I probably would have.
Oh my God.
Probably would have bet.
He doesn't find the barrel in position on the turn, and now he has involuntarily found the jack high straight, which is absolutely payoff territory here. Let's see how greedy D'Souza gets under the presumption he does do his own bidding.
I mean, you could expect, you know, pocket 9s to also bet here. So it would have been nice to if he could get the check raise, but let's see.
9 million.
9 into 26.
I hope
Binder
he
not
just
going to muddy
calls.
these waters, right, Randy?
Yeah, I think he just calls because you need to think about what hands can call
Yeah.
a raise. And on this texture, you know, if D'Souza was betting thinly with like aces or kings.
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't know if it's gonna
9s
call.
is, you know, like 9s is the one hand that's going to maybe call you, but
Well, he's going to raise it still.
31 million.
And he's going to be very upset when the re-raise comes in.
Yeah, I mean, D'Souza's never thinking ace-high clubs is what I've run into here.
Yeah, I would think so.
yeah, I feel like I would have definitely just bet the king queen on the turn. I just feel like there's just so many hands that call a bet that aren't going to bet. You know, even potentially some underpairs like pocket 6s might call you once.
Time bank's being slid forward here, and I don't think it's genuinely with any thought on his mind, but
I mean-
rather posturing before the jam comes in, or does he feel as though
I think it's just how many time banks do I invest to make it look like I might be playing back at you.
Well, he's been also, you know, doing that exact same thing in tough spots. So I think he's just trying to balance his range here.
okay. And Binder knows that he's stepped in it here.
I just don't see how he can be good in this spot.
Yeah.
What, some bet, 3-bet, and all of a sudden changing your ace of clubs into a bluff?
I mean, there's not a lot of ace of clubs hands the button even has here. Because like ace jack probably would have bet already. You know, ace 10 maybe bets, maybe checked. Like what other ace of club hands does the button have? And he wouldn't have checked back a flush. So it's like, I don't even know if you need the ace of clubs here to make this bluff. Just kind of attacking a capped range.
But if that's the assessment, which direction does it skew Binder in?
I mean, how often is a player bet 3-betting all in for his tournament,
Yeah.
like practically 9-handed, super main,
Yeah.
10 million up top, you know? Like sometimes people...
There's been some sick plays. I saw the Jesse Lonis one the other day, just yesterday, right?
True, but
Yeah.
you know, it's a little different
Yeah, no,
now.
for sure. Yeah. It's so hard to find bluffs here. Yeah.
I like what you said there, Randy, because we can be very guilty of getting too granular and then not seeing the forest through the trees in an exchange. And, you know, Randy's point very much on the macro side of the assessment, where you're like, is this dude, let me just pause for a second. Is this dude ever lighter than a jack high straight as played? Just in general. You know what I mean? Like where we're at right now, 250K pay ladder, what I know about his makeup.
Wow, he's called in. De Souza.
Wow.
He's got 158 million.
4 big blinds.
Oh, yeah. Rail's loving it.
What a sick comeback.
I'd probably call in this spot. I don't know if you agree, Faraz, mainly because there's a 30 million stack out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see a reason to jam this. You're keeping in a lot of kings who dominate as well.
Oh, look at that. Oh, top two.
Could not
That's
be
not
any
bad.
sweeter than this for Mercier. Top two versus top pair. 1 club on board.
I mean, Bender's just going to continuously be in the blender.
5.5 million chips C-bet. No fault in it.
And this is one of those type of boards where, you know, it seems like it's way better for the opener's range, but again, her range is very tight here, so it actually hits her more than it normally would. She's not so centered around those 4 through 8 big blind cards anymore. She's centered around
Wow.
King X and Queen X.
Guys, terrain is beginning to fill the windscreen on flight Binder as the deck pushes further forward on the yoke. Case King giving him trips. Mercier has it locked up with the nuts. Slips it over to him once more. Size-wise, boys, we go up or we go down?
I mean, here you want to size it at this point to get it all in easily on the river.
16.5 the figure.
Yeah, so he thinks that Natasha is never folding a jack for this price. Seems like the max. Just got the nuts right now. Your opponent's betting into you. How sweet is this from Natasha?
Yeah, and this year you're kind of, it depends how you want to play. Or like, you want to use a size where you could potentially bet other things than a king, like betting an ace jack or something.
She's trying to sell the story that she's got a tough call with jack, and maybe Bender tries to move her off of it on the river.
The toughest thing Natasha's dealing with right now is curbing her enthusiasm for this delightful situation she finds herself in. Rates to double. I think that is a foregone conclusion. Ace on the end, slightly pesky for Mercier just in case all of a sudden that ace-king, ace-ace stuff was actually present, but we will live with the outcome with 42 million effective left to play for.
It's a good card for Bender because his kicker would improve in case he was up against a bigger king.
And he's not so worried about queen 10 or at that price on the turn, which he have still stuck around despite the pair on board and spades.
Yeah, I don't think
Probably
there's
not,
much
yeah.
queen 10 that plays passively with check call.
I mean, unless she had a spade, was going to bluff on some spade rivers, but probably unlikely.
Wow, look at Bender's stack.
Well, gentlemen, most of the piñatas I've observed throughout the course of my life have been Mexican in origin, but right about now,
I believe
we're
he
looking
used
at
to
the first
play
Austrian.
full-time MTTs online just until a
We're
few
talking
years
about
ago.
D'Souza.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't
So-
think we needed affirmation for Helmuth there.
Yeah, so
But yeah.
I think he absolutely knows what he's doing. So he understands that that's a call, and he's deciding not
Oh
to.
my
guys.
God, is Maue just out of here?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think that's a sketchy call, Randy, on your part, as Bernard started the fire, but I don't think he's going to end up in the inferno. Maue pours kerosene to the tune of 28 mil. JNT with the stone cold cooler. Here comes the icebox. 4th scoop application.
And I think we might see a click back here from Leonard
Yeah, the ace-jack withers.
to try to get some sort of, you know, ace-x hands to jam it back into you.
He's looking down, and yes, it is 2 kings. Is he really going to be the one that gets in for 160 million? There's short stacks out there, but it's kings.
He's just going to jam, boys.
Wow.
And here comes the toast.
Oh my God, 337 million.
Was
I
there
feel-
room to click there?
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
I can't speak. I'm speechless right now for us.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't believe it.
It could be off Wiedersehen. German Maue. And nobody would blame him for it.
Nice. Welcome back.
Somehow we have found the Arctic in the Caribbean. What we haven't found is a king. JNT's camp elated here. Trying to ward off the kings. That's the only available evil.
One more shot.
Success on the turn. Can Maue find the miracle? We've seen 2 outers hit turns and rivers already on the day.
Look at Natasha holding her head.
JNT.
Agent Tukau, Agent of Chaos.